We've got Western Kentucky defensive coordinator Tyson. We're just going to jump right into questions. Patrick, if you want to start us off.
Yeah, Coach, how do you feel about the defense overall after week one?
Yeah, I'm really excited about how hard we played. We were, at least from on the film, I think it was 104 plays that we had to grade. So played a lot of snaps, and I told our staff and I told our defensive guys yesterday, just whether it's play 3, play 33, play 93, or play 103, I thought we played extremely hard. I thought we played very physical and very competitive, and I thought we finished really strongly. We really. I think held them to really 7 points in the last 43 minutes. The USF give them, their staff, and obviously the quarterback and their offense a ton of credit. They were able to come out early on, had some things that were problematic for us. Certainly the tempo was some of that as well, and our guys continued to work, continued to believe, and really we were able to make a few adjustments and played really well, and I'm very proud of that. Things we need to improve on. We've got to tackle better, and I thought we did that through the course of the game. The first quarter, was we did not tackle very well, but as the game went on, I thought we tackled better and better. Kind of found our rhythm there. I would like to, improve in some of the short yardage areas. Short yardage is always a difficult spot, but early on, truthfully, it has nothing to do with our players. It's a poor scheme by me, and I got bitten twice and had to make some adjustments there as well. So those are things that we need to improve. But overall, I feel really good. We kind of have a standard and a metric that we want to be able to use on kind of how to win games. So we were able to have 6 3-and-outs, and we were able to also be in a situation where we had 3 takeaways. Those takeaways were huge for us from a points standpoint. They were moving the ball, being productive. Dez gets an interception, which what a story Dez in his last year and a half, and how he's been able to come back from a major injury. He's able to get an interception. Our offense capitalizes. To me, that's 14 points in a 14-point swing. Aaron goes down. We've asked him to go from outside linebacker to inside linebacker. He gets an interception. That's at least 7-point swing. And then Donuts is a little bit more obvious. He goes and gets a takeaway that is an obvious 7 points. So what I feel like is 28 points right there for us is a huge part of it. But I'm extremely proud. But kind of like Coach said earlier, we've got a long way to go. We've got a lot of improvement to do, and got a big challenge this week.
You seem to have a little bit of extra zip in the second half as the game wore on. Do you feel like that was just a little bit of a conditioning advantage or better depth, or what do you think that might have?
I hope it's all of it. We certainly put together a plan, and I very much believe in explaining the plan to our players. I think, with all people, but particularly younger generation, the more they know the why, the more they're bought into it. So we went through and explained to them what our 2 weeks was going to look like from a preparation standpoint, and we really challenged them. I felt like they bought into that. We did play a lot of players. We played almost a 3 deep. We played almost 30 players in the game, and defensively we tried to move them in and out. Some of that, I think, is us handling our own business in really the second quarter. The first quarter we played way too many snaps. Start off the game with a 15-play drive, and we did look gassed early on in some of those, but I thought we kind of withered that storm, and then we wind up having 3, 4, 5 series in a row where it's a 3-and-out, it's a 2-play interception. We give up a 2-play touchdown, so we didn't wind up in the second quarter being out there very much. And I thought that gave us a lot of energy kind of going into the second half. And a lot of the second quarter, we were able to, with some of those shorter drives, we were able to actually hold some of our better players too, and be able to give those guys some breaks. We had of the 104 plays, I think we had 3 guys that played right at around 80. Those were our highest numbers for anybody. We played 10 or 11 DBs and throughout the course of the game. And so I think as the game went on, we were able to kind of get stronger. And I hope, Coach Velkamp his staff. We've been talking about USF in this first game and the heat and the tempo since March, and I know that he put a lot of preparation into his summer and our summer workouts to get ready for them as well.
Kind of piggybacking off that a little bit, USF had just as fast as an offense as WKU usually has. Does that help during the summer to practice against WKU's offense, kind of translate into the game?
I think so. And again, I think, from a tactical standpoint, we knew what this was going to be. Like I said, I think that it's an entire game and a team win. And what I mean by that is, you look back even in the fourth quarter, and I can't remember exactly what it was, but our offense gets the ball with like 8 minutes and 38 seconds, and I may not be exact in that, and then we don't wind, and then they have like a 6.5 minute drive. I mean, that's a game changer that they're able to get a 6.5 minute drive. I haven't said this to Coach Helton, and maybe he won't watch this, but I mean, he was fortunate enough to let us use timeouts on defense. A lot of times your timeouts are very much based for the offense and being able, but he helped us in that regard to be able to use timeouts, and those things were able to help us. There's a kind of time where we get a timeout, we wind up getting a takeaway shortly thereafter. We get a timeout, we hit them with a sack that kind of knocks them out of field goal range and a scoring opportunity. So I think all of it going in, and our assistant coaches doing a great job being able to keep our guys fresh. I mean, even at halftime, I remember we were like at 54 plays, and I had asked our staff, like, all right, where are our numbers at with guys? We need to make sure we can win in the fourth quarter. And I remember Carson Hall, our new defensive line coach, was like, Coach, the most anybody's played is 19. So I think we had done a good job with that. And I think, like I said, being smart, knowing what it was, we worked tempo throughout the summer, like you mentioned earlier. Coach Helton was very aware of that. Coach Velkamp and his staff, Jess and her staff. So I think it was a total team effort.
Yeah, was the 10 or 11 DBs by design, or was that an adjustment?
No, we want to play as many people as we can. We are a little bit different than most defenses. I think defensive lines across the country are going to rotate, but we really try to rotate as many linebackers and defensive backs as we can. Again, in a game like the other day where we were playing a lot of man coverage in particular, I mean, that is extremely, extremely difficult for those, especially the corners. And we knew that they were going to have to carry a big burden for us to do that. So the same breath, you've got to be able to give them some time and the ability to regroup. Throughout the game, I tried to mix enough coverages that could kind of give them a little bit of a breather and regroup through a series. That was very intentional, and it was able to work out.
DB on the long pass did not have safety on that one.
No, he did not. I mean, at the end of the day, like most man coverages, he's playing man. Yes, we have a middle of the field safety. Ball was thrown well. Ball was thrown on time. Poor first step, with AJ. AJ, to his credit, came back and played his butt off. And, a lot of times first game, the new school, new team, first game of the year, you can see people hang their head. It really energized and motivated him. I thought he played extremely, extremely well. You can see him 2 other times. They tried to throw fades on him where he was able to get, a PBU. And I thought he played extremely well. I am as proud of him as I am anybody. And again, for him, he's so conscientious and so competitive. To him, it was, I let this down. I'm not going to let that happen again. And a lot of times you see guys, they fold when things don't go well, and he went the other direction. I am ecstatic that he is here and helping us. But I thought he played really, really well the other day. We just need to clean up those first 2 steps.
Just want to get your thoughts on Houston Christian, too, what you seen of them offensively.
Yeah, they put up 66 points the other night. They're a talented group, and I think the offensive coordinator does a great job. He's a guy, obviously, he's very seasoned, very knowledgeable. There are a lot of air raid principles with, the tempo, the passing game. You can tell the way the quarterback is taught is in very, very much in an air raid principle standpoint, but they're also in a lot of 2 tight end sets. They're running the ball extremely well, very good at the gap schemes. They've got a lot of same side runs that are going to create challenges. I think they package things really, really well. And he knows how to use his players very well. Even in some of the film from a year ago where they're in what I would say looks like 11 pictures, but they're creating 12 personnel problems. They're 12 personnel pictures, but they're creating 13 personnel problems. He knows what he's doing. They ran the ball extremely well the other night. They've got 2 quarterbacks. One was a starter at Louisiana Monroe, good player, big kid, big arm. The other quarterback comes in, goes 9 for 9. It was 100% on his completion percentage the other night. Transfers well, has been a starter at Northern Iowa, and good player. Running back comes in and runs for over 100 yards. They had 2 or 3 different backs that were able to do that. They've got an SMU transfer that's 6'4", 210. Big offensive line that plays well together and really bends well and is able to move people off the line of scrimmage in their gap schemes. And he's a smart guy. I mean, he does an unbelievable job mixing, tempos, mixing the offense. And the quarterbacks are trained well, and the running backs can run.
Couldn't ask for a better week from Donut.
He played really, really well, and I am extremely proud of Donut. We ask Donut to do a lot, and so what I mean by that is, again, in most teams where you're kind of a 4-3 defense, the defensive end puts his hand in the ground and rushes the passer all day. In a 3-4 defense, the Donut's position stands up and he rushes the passer some, he drops some. We play a lot of different defenses, and one play he is the defensive end, one play he is an inside linebacker, another play he's an outside linebacker. Sometimes he's standing up in the A gap, sometimes he's in the B gap. He played as good in coverage the other night as anybody could, but what you see is great players making great plays at great times, and I thought he played extremely well. But for him to finish it the way he finished it, and you can really see, again, seasoned veteran sees the opportunity not just on the move that he makes on the tackle, but obviously the opportunity at the ball with the quarterback. And those are the easy things for us to see on the TV and the replays and however many times you hit rewind. But he's got like that long to see all those things. And I don't know exactly. Is this like his 3rd touchdown in like the last 6 or 7 games? I mean, that's a lot of touchdowns. Because I want to say, I know he had one at Rice, and I believe he had one at UAB as well. If he didn't have UAB, he would have gotten back to like the 2 or the 3. But he has been a takeaway magnet, and we talk all the time about takeaways, and obviously it's a huge importance for us, and our players understand that, and our staff understand that. But the percentage of when you score a defensive touchdown, how that equates to winning football games is as high as the statistic as you can get. So very, very proud of him, and he'll continue to do well.
New faces on the defensive line. This was their first test. I feel like they performed.
I thought they performed well. Coach mentioned it earlier. We've got to do better from just a statistical standpoint in stopping the run. Obviously, the numbers that they were able to put up the other night, and again, give USF a lot of credit to their backs, their scheme, their quarterback scrambling, those sorts of things. But we went into the game, if you particularly watching Tennessee and trying to evaluate that film and trying to put Coach Golish and USF into the same evaluation, we were playing with some lighter boxes where we had a 6-man box and they had 8 with the quarterback being able to run the ball. We did that because we were, wanted to make sure that we were not giving up a lot of explosive passes over our head. You mentioned the one earlier, when we were in man coverage, but so we asked a lot of them, and really for the last 3 quarters, the last 43 minutes of the game, I thought they did a very good job of managing the run game, and we created a lot of pressure. I mean, I think we were credited with either 5 or 6 sacks, but we were in their backyard all night, and I thought that Terrion Thompson played extremely well for us. A number of those guys did. Jaden Loving played extremely well. I thought they all played well together in the run game, and I think that they were really able to do a good job of collapsing the pocket and not letting him get out and see a run that goes for 30, 40, 50, and being able to create edges. So I was very proud of him.
What was your angle on that, though? I guess it was a strip sack, fumble, return, touchdown. Like, did you see him, like, take it out of his hand, or did you have to see it on the replay?
No, I saw him running with it. The truth of the matter was I had called the play before, and I was mad at myself, particularly with how the result went. And we have certain calls that he knows I am calling for him. And that was certainly one of them. But he goes and he makes a move, and then, like I said, I see him out of my periphery. Usually, I'm looking at the offensive line as I'm watching plays kind of develop, and I see the moves able to put on him. Then I see him with the ball, and like anything else, when he's got a chance, he's been such a unbelievable playmaker for us the last year, and obviously this game, none of it surprised me.
Anything else for Coach?
Coach, how important is it to open up at home, especially on those third down plays? How big of an impact to the crowd play?
Yeah, the crowd was huge for us, and it's fun for us, and y'all may have heard it, if we get takeaways or third down stops or fourth down stops, or if we make them kick field goals, I'll do this thing where I say, give me 2 claps, and they do the 2 claps and a Ric Flair, and it's kind of our thing, but we will do it when we come over on the sideline, even on game day, and it's gotten to where it's funny because a lot of the fans will kind of do it with us. That sit behind us, and so the crowd played a huge part of it. I know I mentioned earlier, it was really my fault with some of the third and short scenarios the other day, particularly the fourth and short scenarios, but we were pretty good at third and medium and third and long. Really good at third and medium and third and long the other night, and I think a lot of it had to do with the crowd and how they were able to energize our players and get us the pass rush that we needed to have.